Well, good evening and welcome back. I don't even know if anybody's in here. I really don't even fucking care. Season 2, Paranormal Jackass, coming live. It's been a while. It has been. And I'm excited to be back. I told you all I wasn't coming by myself this time, and I sure in the fuck didn't. I brought my two homies, my two brothers from another mothers, because we're kind of talking about that tonight. We're going to be in controversy. Once again, I'm the paracomedian. I like controversy. I like shaking a little shit up. So, without further ado, I'm bringing on my homeboys, the rare bald-headed Sasquatch and the paranormal penis himself. Shit.
How y'all doing?
What is up? Guess what? We the only motherfuckers up in here. Who cares?
Ain't that bad?
I'm sure people jump in a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, they just might. I mean, who knows? You know. Hey, Chrissy shared a link onto my timeline. Oh, that's
Not bad.
hey. I think she's stalking me, dude. I think. I mean,
You a stalker.
I heard her in the background. What he
I
said?
did too, dude. I was like, wow.
Only the best.
Hey, it says I'm live.
Yep,
We're live.
We are live.
it is live.
But you know what's weird though? It's not public on my Facebook page.
I agree.
Well, I shared it on my Facebook page.
There we go. Guess what? For some reason, it had only me. Stupid.
Yep. I don't know how to work none of that. When something like that breaks, it's Chrissy. Hey, Chris, I need help.
That's what I'm
Crystal
saying.
knows a lot more about it than I do.
Listen, I wouldn't be able to use my phone if it wasn't for her.
Scotty, it is public on your Facebook page.
What'd she
I
say?
thought several
She
times.
said
about
it
going
is
to
public on your Facebook page.
That's because I just changed it.
Okay.
I figured it out. For some reason, it said only me.
That's well, I could see it on your page too.
Well, hey, only me could be like OnlyFans, but it's only me.
I cannot.
That's how you get the beads from the Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
That's what I'm saying. I got tiny beads. I mean,
My God. Help me, Jesus.
We all need Jesus. Hallelujah.
who you think? What's
We
up,
do.
bud? Who you think we talking about tonight? We talking about Jesus.
Talk about the J-Man himself.
And just remember, we like controversy. Our opinions are our opinions. And, you come in, we love to hear what you guys think, but be respectful. Otherwise, Daddy
You're gonna get what we call the boot.
the boot. You're going to be like Notre Dame. And
Scott will drop kick you. I've seen it.
I'll kick you.
And I swear I won't get con banned. I swear I won't get con banned.
I don't think I can get up that high anymore, dude.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you there.
I go to jump, I'd probably pull muscle in my back, my groin muscle.
You gotta wear your tall shoes.
We're gonna pull 4 or 5.
Yeah. You gotta wear your tall shoes on that day.
I'll have some tall shoes. I just bought some Chrissy's. Man, I know she got them hooker boots.
Ramblings ever made.
He said hooker boots, man. He said hooker.
Dude, I know I can get some.
Man,
Hold on. I got somebody yelling for me.
That just about came out my nose. Oh, that was bad. Oh. Cleared my sinuses.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, we got Cody Sharp saying, "What's up? How's your night been? It's been a day. A snowy, cold day."
Hey, She would say, "Hi." She's mad. Our washer pipes are frozen. She can't do no laundry. Where'd he go?
Sorry, my dog started barking per his usual. Shut up.
What'd you say? We're live.
Hush.
Congratulations.
You want to sit down and talk with us?
No.
Okay.
I gotta shower.
I know you stink.
I gotta do laundry, but I can't do laundry. I almost on my laundry strip.
Hey, I told you to do laundry like before the pipes were going to freeze,
Yeah,
but you
and
didn't
then
listen.
everyone else decided to do laundry.
I'm just saying. Oh, Tim,
What's
I
up?
think we scared Jason off already. So,
Oh my God, I hope not. I'm sure he'll be back.
oh, there he is.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm not
I'm
real
like-
good with these phone things.
Why do
I
you
was
think
trying to look
got
at the chat, and then I finally found it, and I tried to back out of the chat to put stay in this, and it like, because when I pull the
Cody,
chat up, my whole phone gets covered with the chat screen, with y'all in the background.
Cody, I'm so sorry for you. He says he's your cousin.
He is. Hey, dude, you know that ain't gonna happen in this house. You lived here. You know what these pipes are like. I put a salamander down there and they don't thaw out.
I wonder how long it's fucking room.
You got him wrapped?
Huh?
You got them wrapped up?
No, because they're going underneath the porch where we go outside to chill out. That little porch right there in the front.
Yeah.
Our pipes are underneath there.
Can you get access to underneath there?
What?
Only if
You're gonna have to pull the floorboards up, at least a
Right.
couple of them, at least 3 or 4 of them, so you can get a crawl space to get up underneath there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It hits a little button and just nullifies your existence
Put
forever.
your little door in there and put your little door on it so you can crawl underneath there.
oh yeah.
But
Get
I
you.
would do that and
I'm still sharing out. Speaking of, I just actually shared to your group. Hi, Jenny.
Hear that reaction complete mental break. Just never.
Hola.
That's the price you pay.
So for those of you just joining us, we're going.
Oh,
I said Scott's going with the George W. Bush campaign tonight. He's going
eradicate
stock and all right off the bat for the
I
first
got Jimmy
episode.
Genie going on. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna grant you a wish.
We're going to be talking about Jesus.
Oh, I hate it. Oh, I
Yeah.
hate it. Oh my god.
Jesus.
Oh my god, I hate it.
Adrian, what are you
What are
doing,
you guys
bro?
watching over there? Because I don't know.
What'd you say you was watching on TV?
Yeah.
They're on
Who's on the line?
a line. Jason,
Oh, I didn't know that.
talking about Mary and Jesus.
Oh, okay.
So for all you individuals,
Oh my god.
we
What?
are going to be talking about Jesus and Mary Magdalene.
The whole room's kind
It's
of
probably going to be one
I
of
wonder.
few controversial shows we plan on having here on the Paranormal Jackass.
And whether
So I-
the two were
I got an interesting Mary question, and there is some historical evidence that could lead. It could be a possibility,
This whole
but the Holy Grail was actually the body of Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, not the whore one. You know what I'm saying?
not a cup.
No, but I mean, what y'all think on that?
Well,
So
biblically, there's no evidence of a holy grail.
But there is. It was the Ark of the Covenant, and it was carried by the Crusaders in the First Crusade. We lost it somewhere in Ethiopia. Was the last recording we had of it anywhere. And they actually have underground catacombs churches that are still part of the Catholic Church, or a sect of them, that's in Ethiopia, that have mines that are holy that we're not allowed to go in. Nobody other than the Ethiopian priests are allowed inside of them. We don't know what's down there. And that's where the Ark of the Covenant, which is considered the Ark, that's where the last place we seen it was during the First Crusades in Ethiopia.
Right.
well,
But I
you
mean,
know,
the actual holy grail There's
No,
no
the whole cup deal and Indiana Jones and all that. That's
Yeah.
great, but there's nothing backing it, supporting it historically. However, there was the Ark of the Covenant was carried by the Crusaders, and it was a symbol of the divinity of Christ.
Right.
And it was considered that as long as the army had that in their possession, they were undefeatable.
Yeah, the Ark is definitely a real
Well,
historical.
what I found interesting was,
During this
you know, me and Tim has been wanting to do this subject for a while, especially based on the Da Vinci Code.
definitely
The times that we're watching again,
honorable mention.
and it's an interesting what you just said, Jason, because
Okay.
absolutely you can share this out. Because I do believe in that 10 in the Da Vinci Code. That's what they were saying about Mary Magdalene.
And I will see you guys
Was
around.
she was
Here's
the
another.
Holy Grail.
We'll see you around.
I do believe
She was
because
the wife of Jesus,
she
and
was the
that
wife of Jesus in the Templar.
in that they had children, and that carried on Jesus' bloodline.
Right. Hey Shannon. How
Well,
you
this is
doing?
my thing. Like, that's why Dan Brown caused so much flack, was because he used the prostitute and made a story of saying that Jesus and Mary had something going on, but nowhere hieroglyphically or nothing, there's no writing anywhere in any statue. And the disciples did a lot of writing. Those people that were with them recorded a lot of things. There's nowhere in there of Jesus ever having affairs with a woman. And then when you think
There
about,
is and isn't, but the one that does say something kind of close to it is from pardon me, from about 200 to 300 years after Jesus' death.
Right.
And that's the earliest text we have of it is called the Gospel of Philip.
yeah,
And in that one, it talks about Jesus would kiss Mary on the mouth, and they use the word companion of the Savior a lot.
Right.
The book itself never says Jesus or Christ. It says the Savior. And it's one of the non-canonical Gospels is what it's called, because it's not in the Bible.
no, there's a few of them. I've read a couple of books that are not. I mean, it's like when you get into the Dead Sea Scrolls and you start dealing with other things that were from that era that we have found later on in life. That's been, and not to mention King David removed when he wrote the King David Bible, the original text, all the manuscripts that were in there, he removed several of those. The Ben Sirah, the Book of Wisdom. I mean, there was a several, like 13 books he removed from that. But you can find Bibles that still have them. You know what I'm saying? And
I've read several of the non-canonical or canonical, or however you say that word. I've read several of the texts from those, and it's interesting because it definitely sheds a different light on several different aspects of Jesus' life. For one, there were more than just Mary Magdalene that followed Jesus around.
there was a lot of people.
Supported him. There were a lot of women that followed Jesus around and financially supported his ministry.
You got to imagine women during that time with possessions. They didn't have a voice. They didn't have the right to walk in a room with men and say, this is how they felt about something. They wasn't allowed to do that.
No.
Jesus comes along and he starts preaching and saying, you're a human being too. You have a right to have an opinion. If you follow God, you get the same thing that every other person gets, regardless of their sex.
Right. And the big thing was, several of the male disciples were very against the females following them around. Peter was very against females following them around. But what I have researched and found, not only biblically, but in the non-canonical things, from my findings, Mary was definitely one of the disciples.
Oh, she was at the Last Supper and everything. She's in the picture of the Last
She
Supper,
was at
sitting next
she
to
was at the
Jesus.
crucifixion.
Absolutely. I mean,
And the biggest evidence, I think, for saying, yeah, that picture, if you look to the person seated to the right hand of Jesus,
is Mary
they say
Magdalene.
that is John.
Yeah,
Right.
to the left is Mary Magdalene. They make the V,
Yeah,
the
to the
symbol of
left, to the left of what we're looking at, but it would be Jesus's right hand side.
yeah, it
Right.
would be his right hand side.
And that would be Mary Magdalene. Now,
Yep.
they're saying, and this is what I love about the Da Vinci Code is just the way the movie broke stuff down, which I can't do on here. But the way that her head is tilted and leaning,
It
it's
makes the V.
actually- it makes the V, but she's supposed to be on the other side to the left of Jesus, where her head is supposed to be upon his
Resting
shoulder.
on Jesus' shoulder. Yeah.
Yep. And I found that to be extremely interesting.
And the other point the movie makes, though, is that just because Leonardo da Vinci painted it that way doesn't mean it's true.
Right. And I, and I get that.
Oh, hi, Corey. Just seen you commenting, and Shannon, I've seen you on there. Yeah, it's one of those controversial topics that's it's hard for me to talk about because you're raised one way, but
Right.
at the end of the day, we have to remember that Jesus was 100% God and 100% man. If you believe,
Well,
in
not only that, I'm
Jesus.
tired of people portraying Jesus as being some frail little skinny, blonde haired, blue eyed, pasty white skinned man. I'm sick of that. He was a carpenter by trade.
Wait,
He was a
wasn't, right?
carpenter by trade. Do you know how hard carpenter work was back then? You
Well,
had to be muscular.
technically, if you go back to the Greek and Hebrew, the word carpenter literally translates to mason. He
Right.
probably worked more with stone than wood.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
in that
It's even
profession,
worse. It's even
yeah,
more.
you was not a little skinny, frail man. And two, I'm sorry, but this man's definitely in the desert. How many
Right.
blonde hair, blue eyed, pasty white skin you seen in the desert? What he had? Sunscreen XP 5 million?
No, he definitely would have been
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
at the
I
very
don't care what
least
anybody says.
olive skin
It's not a sin to have long hair.
with
He had
No.
it. I
very
agree.
curly hair. He definitely would have been more
Middle
Arabic
Eastern.
looking.
he would have had a Middle Eastern descent to him.
and white.
Right. I mean, people say that he was Jewish or whatever, but he was actually Galilean. How do you say that? And that's
Golly.
what they say.
Galilean.
Yes. And that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, now, and
Actually,
how
northern
do you-
Israel.
huh?
Northern Israel, closer to
Right.
Turkey, modern day Turkey, than it
Right.
would be Israel.
So, and I think that's just, Tim, and I brought this up about the prior of Sion.
Priory of
Okay.
Zion.
Yes, those guys, and I
So-
wonder if that's an actual thing because
It
The way-
was, but that wasn't invented until 1956.
right, okay.
That's not even
But when we
like,
look at all the secret societies out there, it makes me wonder what little do we still
Well,
not know
what we do
about
know
it.
is what we do know is the Knights of the First Crusade, right,
Right,
went to Jerusalem, dug under the temple, found something, went to the Pope, were given limitless power within the church, and then were denounced as Satan worshipers about 300-400 years later, and were executed. all in
so
one
listen,
day.
listen,
Tried
this is
to
my
wipe out the
subject.
face of the earth.
You just fell into my trap card because I am a Knight Templar's junkie on history. And the reality of it was they was the poor man's after the first crusades, the knights that was left over there in the Middle East that didn't want to come back because they were shell shocked or whatever reasons, when the Christians would try to travel from the ocean into Jerusalem to the Tomb of Solomon and all that to do their prayers, the Muslims or the Islam people was attacking and killing the Christians. So these leftover crusaders banded together and said, look, we're going to protect them people from the boats into Jerusalem. We're going to protect them back. We here anyway. In the process of them doing this, the people were so thankful for it, they started giving them their possessions. Like, man, you need a horse here. You need some money here. It became so plentiful, and they became so widely known the way when kings and other people from England or wherever, when they want to come travel over into the Holy Land, they were being protected by the Knights Templar. The Pope, they had gained such a name with the people because unless the Pope sends a friggin' massive army to the Middle East, the average knight was getting slaughtered in the Middle East. These are war hardened, like they with it, you know, they the guy you don't want to mess with. Their name had got so reputable with the people that the Pope and them couldn't deny it. They couldn't hide it. You can't denounce them as devil worshippers because they the way y'all getting to go do y'all prayers in Jerusalem. And then Christianity, the Muslims and the Christians basically traded Jerusalem repeatedly over history. They got a movie called Kingdom of Heaven.
Yes.
And it's about the Christians had Jerusalem and the Muslims banded together and came with an army of thousands and thousands of people. And they had a big old battle. You know what I'm saying? But like
that land has been fought over since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
I mean, even you go back to the days of Moses.
Well, Abraham's children. Abraham had two children. He had one with his wife Sarah and one with the slave daughter, with the slave girl.
Yes.
And when he didn't want to give his birthright to the slave girl and he sent him away, God said, one child is going to take this land and this child is going to take this land and they're going to fight over that land for eternity. And that's why they got the Shiites and the Sunnis and the Shiites. You know what I'm saying? Those are the two tribes. They still war to this day.
One went on to start the Muslim religion, and one is a founder of the Jewish faith, and inadvertently the Christian faith. So yeah, it's one of those things where that land has been fought over ever since people can remember.
Right.
And and it's still being fought over today. That war is still happening today.
It's a jihad. It's a holy war. They'll never stop over that land.
Right. But
you don't join it, you're kind of born into it.
Aside from all that, though, the question still lingers: was Jesus married? And if so, was he married to Mary Magdalene?
You know, conspiracy theories.
Now, a lot of people, though, say that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, but that didn't come out until the 600s. 600 years after the fact.
So do you think that that was made, that
I'm going to say this,
brought up to make her look like she was not Jesus's wife? Because in some sense, I'll go back to the movie and some other conspiracy theories that Jesus, born of God, whatever, was a regular man, and that him and Mary were married, and that they even buried a child, that she buried a child.
Well, listen.
Which is interesting to me because the shroud that they found of Jesus.
The Shroud of Turin.
Yes. Now, if that's a conceivable theory that they were married, regardless of either way, and that she did in fact bear a child, why not have DNA? You think it would be bad to try and take DNA to see if there is living descendants right now?
I'm not sure that it would be possible, but
I mean, you got to understand this though. He was man and God, so he's man too.
Right.
So he came from Mary, even though God is his father. His mother was still human. You feel what I'm saying? So he carries the bloodline of Mary, his mother. and her
And here's-
descendants. So of course
here's a
there's going to
little
be
bit of
descendants of.
evidence. Here's a little bit of evidence that I found that kind of says leans more toward Jesus being married, which I found very interesting.
Okay.
At that time, even rabbis were married.
Right.
I'm
All
not.
the leadership
I
would
don't even. I don't even dispute the married thing being because it is possible, and he said it himself. Listen, he had temptations and he did things right. So back then, during that time, a marriage had been done in a house with somebody that was considered holy. You know what I'm saying?
Eileen. Yeah, I definitely know what
Eileen.
you're saying. And here's the thing too. So much of Christianity post 1000 AD
Right.
has led us to believe that that sex and the union of male and female is a sin, is part of the sin that we're born as sinners, is true from Adam and Eve. But so much of it has been led us to believe that sex is a sin. The Bible speaks very plainly. Even Jesus says very plainly that sex in marriage is a wonderful thing.
In marriage, though, and that's why he say it's better. You know, it's not sin to have sex, but if it's meaningless sex, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's not, because anytime he talks about something like that, or he talks about partnership
It
between a
talks
man and a woman,
talks very
it's to
strongly
respect
about
each other, it's to better each other. You know what I'm saying? That we should carry ourselves in a certain way so that we give good examples to people, not just our family, but people outside around us. You know what I'm saying? But it's like society's gonna tell you that because some things are kind of sinful. In other words,
Hey, sis.
Well, that's the other part of it too, is it also speaks very plainly about sexual immorality, which a lot of people confuse as homosexuality, but in all truth and honesty, it's sexual immorality, which is immoral sex.
yeah.
So,
Dang.
but sex within marriage is, and at the end of the day, like you said, Jesus was 100% God, but Jesus was also 100% man.
Yeah, he was 100. He even said it himself. Listen, when he was talking to God right before he got arrested to get crucified, right? And he went up down the hill and the disciples went to sleep. He got on his knees and he said, God, please, if you could do it any other way, do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
Right.
being tempted. He had those temptations. We all are going to be tempted. He had to be man like us so that he could do it. He could be the living example and show us that it can be done by man.
Right.
Right.
When he asked that, it makes me wonder,
Go ahead, Jenny.
you know, when he asked, is there any other way? Do you think it's because he had such feelings for, I'm going to say, for Mary, you know?
It could have been a lot of that. Listen, he
been the
listen,
fact-
there's a
it
whole
could have
lot of
been-
things in there too that you got to realize. Jesus not only had the love of Mary, man, he had the love of them disciples, Peter and John. Them dudes loved him on a different level. They cut a man's ear off in the garden when they tried to arrest Jesus. Jesus had to stop him. Hold on. Now these dudes been committing miracles in the name of Jesus, in the name of God. They've been committing miracles for Jesus. And this man just straight pulled the sword out and whacked this dude's ear off. Boo, let me get that. Don't mess with him. You know what I'm saying? Like
The other bit of evidence I found was it speaks very plainly about Jesus having a beard. And at the time of the crucifixion. Now, when you go back into Israeli history and you look at that time period, first century AD, men didn't grow beards unless they were married. And it speaks very plainly about Jesus having a beard being ripped out at the crucifixion.
Definitely a raw question. I won't post it. My question is, if in marriage and sex is okay in religion, is rape in a marriage okay?
No, no,
you will never
no.
hear me say
Listen,
rape in anything.
it's not. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not. It's not because it wasn't consensual. When you married to somebody for whatever reasons, yes, you married to them, but it has to be two ways. If it's one person forcing it upon the other, that's not love. That's not what marriage is.
Right. Absolutely.
That doesn't fall into the category of marriage. That's some predator shit. That's somebody that needs to be dragged out back and beaten half to death.
True that. True that.
Yes.
So
I
yeah,
agree.
the three of us would say absolutely not.
I believe
Absolutely.
I believe that marriage is a sacred bond that two people enter into together with mutual respect.
Right.
At that point, you are no longer respecting your partner mutually.
How can you love somebody if you don't respect them?
Right.
How can you love them if you know that's a part of being in love with somebody is having the respect for them.
Even if they have a headache.
You know, I'm not saying I haven't been a dog in my days, but if you with a woman, if you with somebody and you say this is your significant other and you love them, you should always be worried about, are they okay? And if they the same way towards you, they always worried about if you're okay. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
Because this show is this show, I gotta say it. If she ain't giving up, hi.
Yep.
Guess what, baby? You got
Maybe
one
she
way
ain't,
in the-
maybe she's not the one. Maybe he needs to move on, or maybe whatever. If she's not happy, you know what I'm saying, and y'all don't have it.
Place cold like Indiana is right now. Rub your hands together first, guys.
I got a sock around here somewhere. Hold on.
Microwave and the baby oil doing the P. Diddy.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh, geez.
It ain't a party unless it's a Diddy party, bro.
No, we don't want no Diddy parties. I think we're talking about the opposite of that. But
Oh, okay, my bad.
And Scotty's like, I'm there. What time?
Ooh.
yes, I am a headache. Been one my whole life.
Let's talk about the transfer of DNA during intercourse. Hit me up for that show. Are we going to do like we're going to give examples? Is that how we're going to do this, Beth? Like I need details.
I'm saying, because like, think about that time when you was in the bathroom at McDonald's, but you was on the wrong side of town. You know, the one where they don't clean the bathroom in the McDonald's, and y'all was doing some freaky shit in the bathroom. There could definitely be some DNA transfer.
No,
I'm hovering.
I mean,
Just saying, I'm hovering.
I hover. I lay toilet paper down all over it. Nah, we're good. We good. I'm just saying, like, nah.
One time I was in Indianapolis and walked into the men's room of a McDonald's, and there was a dude passed out on the floor.
I'm not.
Yo.
I said
out.
I said my ball wrong.
Well, Scott, when you get a little older, them things tend to drop down a little further, and
time to get you some tidy whities. Can't be wearing the boxes.
So, what were we talking about?
Hey, Scott, you remember old men used to sit down, they grab the front of their pants and sit down?
Is that what it is? But all I did was shift, dude. All I did was shift. I'm just saying.
That's all it takes.
These days. But
It's time to start grabbing your pants and pulling up before you sit down, Scott.
I tell you what, So how do you guys, or your opinions, how do you think if there was, for some reason, we won't be alive if it ever happens. But we found out that Jesus and Mary were married and had a child. How do you think society would react to that? Would that be? You think
I
that
think
would be
society
like?
would react more to the child than they would the fact Jesus is married. Because then is that child, if Jesus is 100% man and 100% God, is that child now a quarter God?
Right.
I think the child presents a bigger problem.
I don't, but the godnessism isn't part of his bloodline. It don't have nothing to do with his DNA. That all rots.
but-
Even his DNA is going to decay and flay away.
You know
The
that
spirit
question will
doesn't.
come up.
The spirit doesn't. The spirit is your essence of what you are,
Right.
who you
Right.
are.
Right.
So that there's no way he could pass the God aspect of it on. But just to know for a fact that we have a descendant,
It would be huge.
man, that would be
And how many
incredible.
people are descendants?
Look at how big that was when they found the ark up there, stuck on the top of that mountain, petrified. They literally have the whole ark up there petrified into a mountain. They can't barely get to it because it's so high.
Hey, I like that show, by the way. Just so you know,
Half and half.
half and half. It's like question is, would society be ready for such a revelation? Because that would change everything in their beliefs, change all the books.
Not really, because listen, society in America, I say for America, we already introverted. People don't we don't have the Christian population we had in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s and the 50s. The church was booming. You know what I'm saying? Now people just don't believe in God, or they believe in other crap. They think they gods themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Islam coming in, you got all these different weird crap going on.
You don't need Jesus. That's what you need.
I'm just saying, like,
I was wondering.
and
back
you're
in
right.
the day,
You're right.
Well,
you're right.
there's
when I went to school, we had to pray in school. We had to
Yeah.
stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. Then we had to sing the gospel songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
No,
You can't even do that now. My little cousin got suspended from school for praying before she ate at lunch by herself. Then just sat down and did a little prayer. Lunch lady seen her, got her suspended.
and that shouldn't happen because
You're not allowed to pray in public schools. It's federal law.
technically,
it's separation of
if
church
student
and
is
state.
doing it by themselves, they are harming no other person around them.
That's the same thing we said, but it doesn't. It's the way it's written up. And the school board backed and we couldn't do nothing about it. We appealed the suspension and everything.
Yeah, because they
But
do
to me, that's-
separation of church and state. And
If I want to be able to have my child have the right to pray in school, that means I got to kick out a whole bunch of money to send them to a private Christian school.
right.
Because ain't no Christian school free and they expensive.
Oh yeah, we
that's-
got one here in town,
Yes, sir. Tuition is not cheap at those places.
Huntington University, the college.
Huntington Catholic School.
Yeah.
That too.
I mean, we have Catholic schools and Catholic, and the Huntington University is actually a Methodist. No, United Brethren University. My friend Mike would smack me through the face so hard. United Brethren, not Methodist. But growing up here in the Bible Belt, we're taught to believe certain things and taught to see certain things a certain way. And at the end of the day, all religions, every religion I've ever studied in my life is really more of a guidebook on how to lead a good life.
Thank you. I used to tell people this all the time. Listen, you might not believe in the Bible, but if you read the Bible and you live what the Bible tells you to do, you will have a good life. You will have a blessed life.
Exactly. And, at the end of the day, that's what it really boils down to is how good we are to our fellow human beings. If you take, what are there? My cousin will get me for getting this wrong, but I think there's like 634 Jewish laws. from everything from what you're allowed to eat, what you're not allowed to eat, and what you can do here and what you can do there. But if you take every law that's written in the Bible, every law from the Old Testament, New Testament, and you funnel it all down, you come up with the 10 Commandments. And if you funnel those two things down even further, you have two things that the Bible tells you to live by. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
And if you don't read the Bible, then
Nobody says you have to.
it's a conscious thing. If you,
It's
I don't
just-
read the Bible. I don't.
The
But I
Bible is full
believe
of stories.
I'm a good person because I'm still compassionate about people. I still want to help out when I can. So even though I don't read the Bible, that's just how I am. So
I've read
even
it
if you don't read it, do
cover
what
to
you feel.
cover multiple times in different languages and different versions. And they all say the same thing to me. And it comes down to those two things. And
I guess, I'm sorry, go ahead. I ain't mean to cut you off.
oh, you're fine. But to me, I've also studied the Jewish faith, Jewish mysticism, going way back, the teachings of the Gnostics. I've studied the Muslim religion and read the Quran. I've studied Buddhism, Hinduism, all of it.
Oh, are we bragging now? I mean,
No,
that's
I'm
fine.
not. I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, I had to do this for a college class.
No, I know.
And all of them funnel down to those two basic fundamental things, which is just lead a good and aesthetic life at the end of the day.
Just be a good person.
Be kind, be a
Yeah.
good person. And you look at the
compassionate.
teachings of, and I know we're talking about Jesus here, but if you look at the teachings of Jesus, is it any different? Be kind to one another.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah,
wealthy
absolutely.
man. Give up your worldly possessions to help the poor. Do what you can to help each other out. Because I'm going to tell everybody a little secret that I discovered a long time ago.
That you had no hair?
2,000 years ago, life was hard, just like it is today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Life was hard. Help each other out. Be kind to one another.
And if not, smack him in the dick. Wham!
Tippy.
And
Well, let me ask you this.
I mean,
Do y'all think it's a sin to be mad?
No.
no,
Let me tell you something.
I don't
Even
want to say
even
I don't-
think
Jesus
it's
got
wrong.
mad.
I think it's
Even
wrong
Je-
to hate.
right.
Listen,
I think it's
even
wrong to hate, but I think anger is a normal part of life.
you're allowed to hate evil.
Yes.
There's no sin against that. And even Jesus got mad when he found them people selling pigeons and stuff in the temple. And he flipped out and grabbed a stick and started ripping tables over and hitting people with sticks and telling them, move around, get out of my father's temple. You're making this into a market. You know what I'm saying? Like he got mad, he got pissed. But he was doing it righteously.
Right.
That's like our soldiers that go overseas. When they take a life overseas, are they sinning? It depends on if you're doing it with hate in your heart. If you're taking that person's life because you don't like the color of their skin, or you don't like their religion, or you know what I'm saying? You really have hatred in your heart for that person, then it's a sin. But if I'm taking your life because I'm protecting my brother's life, am I not my brother's keeper?
Right.
I don't want to harm you, but if you shoot at us, I'm going to protect me and my brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I
In the-
when we get together, we always talk about that. Like the three of us.
we have to come to the
Nope.
conclusion when it comes to war, though, that as long as the world has existed with differing in opinions on religion, war has been hand in hand with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Some people would say as long as there's been one God, but that's not true. War has gone hand to hand with religion going way back before anything else.
Yep.
Hi, Nikki.
What up?
And Joey said, "Found you, you flirty animals."
So, man, let me ask you this. Jesus must have had some rough feet because he did a lot of walking. And now I don't see them having no Nike Air Max back then.
No, man.
You
You
know
want
what I'm
to hear something funny, Jason? You want to hear
No.
something funny?
He
saying?
had those Adidas sandals with those memory foam insoles, man.
Man, I
seen those.
think his toes probably look like they was throwing up gang signs. You know what I'm saying?
My dad used to say when I'd ask for a ride somewhere, I'd say, "Dad, I want to go here. Can you take me there?" He'd say, "Jesus walked. Are you better than Jesus?"
Mine, where he said, "Well, Left and Ralph." I said, "Well, who's that?" Or Larry and Ralph. Who's Larry and Ralph? Your feet, your left and your right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get it.
I rode my bike from here to Roanoke one day.
I was gonna say, man, we had bicycles. We was gone.
Yep.
That's because they lived in the desert. The shit got dirty. I'm just saying.
Yep.
What would Jesus and God say to his people that we trust and do bad things? I'm pretty sure there's places for all of us like that.
Hey,
I'm just saying. It's warm. They got warm coffee.
And here's the thing: none of us sitting here on this screen right now
Perfect.
are perfect or righteous people.
man, I'm so
absolutely.
far from perfect. Listen,
Oh yeah, dude.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
claim to be a good person all the time. I have days. I'm not perfect.
I got scars that say I'm not perfect.
Listen,
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
So let's just clear that air right now.
And never stepped in camel shit. No, I bet you they did. They did.
man, he floated on water. He probably floated right over camel shit when he stepped on it.
It's like a step up. Oh,
What?
It's one of them
hey,
dogs.
Yep. Yep. Thank you, God. Thank you, Dad.
I
Dad.
mean, father. Stupid camel. No, God. But it's just, yeah. I'm going to watch that show again. I really am, because I found it so intriguing.
What show's that?
The Da Vinci Code, and just how everything went.
You need to watch. So Dan Brown, he made a couple movies. Watch Angel and Demons too.
Yeah,
Coolest
that's a good one.
explosion I have ever seen in a movie.
Yes.
And what?
Angels and Demons. The coolest, hands down, explosion I have ever seen in a movie.
The antimatter.
That is pretty awesome, dude.
When that explodes and the whole crowd standing there just goes boom all at once.
Yeah, dude, that was absolutely amazing.
That was an amazing piece of cinematography.
Now, if you have not watched on
It
Netflix,
was good.
they have Mary, not Mary Magdalene. They have Mary, Jesus' mother.
Yeah, I watched
it. On Netflix, you need to watch it. It's a very good show.
But yeah, we're down to like what, 10 minutes left?
10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that time went fast.
It does. An hour-long show goes really quick. Scott, real quick, pull up that other picture I sent you. I want to explain a little bit about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So this picture you're about to see is a mosaic floor. There it is. It's found it's the mosaic floor of Lady Mary's Monastery, which is in Beit Shean in Israel. And it is supposedly depicting Jesus as the sun god Helios and Mary Magdalene as Artemis or Persephone. They're both associated with the moon. And then surrounded by the 12 disciples, all depicting, Greek gods, basically. Beit Shean, Israel, is in northern Israel, closer to Turkey. There would have been a lot of Greeks living in that area at the time. This discovered and is done as an early church, which would have been before the Council of Nicaea. So you're talking 2nd or 3rd century BC. So, but for some reason it depicts Jesus and Mary Magdalene in the middle. Now, here's another question, another thought-provoking question from me anyway.
Later,
Is-
Jeremy.
Would the church, have a good one, Jeremy. Would the church cover up Jesus's marriage, or would they try to cover up the fact that Mary Magdalene was a disciple at all?
This is the thing, though. There was no church at that time. It wasn't until 30-something years later that Paul and I can't think of the other one's name, actually established the first known church in Rome.
Right.
And that was because that was the center of the known world at the time. That's where all nationalities of people went to trade.
I'm talking years later.
You know,
I'm saying,
I-
but that there would have been.
I'm talking like
there would've-
Council of Nicaea time.
I'm saying there would have been a history of that, though, that even the church couldn't have suppressed completely, because people would have still followed the belief of it by rumor. You know what I'm saying? That's how fairy tales are told, and things are
Right.
passed down on and on and on forever and ever. I mean, the church is good, but that would be like saying now with phones and social media, that's basically their social media back then was we retell a story over and over and over from town to town, village to village. This is the new news, you know?
Right. And and my thinking though is when you look at the church structure, and I'm just going to use the Catholic Church as a representative here, as an example.
Well, it is the church. I mean, everything else is a branch off from it.
But when you look at the Catholic Church, what role do the nuns play versus the priest?
Well, you had
women aren't allowed to be priests.
no,
Men
but I mean,
predominantly
listen.
controlled the Catholic Church since its conception.
Yeah, but you got to understand how it was structured back then. Women weren't allowed to go in there and in there with the men for them to do their thing. The women counsel women because that's what the Bible has said. Men should counsel men and women should counsel women. So
But
women,
hang on one second. What I'm saying though is would the Catholic Church care, or would the church period care if Jesus was married more than Mary being a disciple of God? Because if Mary was a disciple, then you have a woman in a leadership position.
yes.
they would definitely care more about him being actually being married, because then if that Mary has a child, you know what I'm saying? The church for a long time had to fight off the aspect of paganism of saying that Jesus was man and he wasn't God. That's why they removed a lot of them books out of the Bible about Jesus.
Oh, I think he froze up on
I
us.
think it rose up.
Divine power. They wanted all the strength back then. They wanted to be able to control people. They wanted religion to be law.
Right.
That's how the French Revolution happened. That's how Queen Antoinette got beheaded, was because the Pope and the King was at each other's neck. But the Pope had so much power. First, he starved the people. Then he turned around and told the people that the king was a devil worshiper and that they needed to overthrow him.
Hey, Les Miserables, baby.
I mean,
But it didn't help that old King Louis there was into the Pope for about $7 million in today's money.
oh yeah, he was definitely,
He was definitely borrowing from the Vatican Bank.
And she liked her men too, so
But no, I mean, to me,
we
I
gotta talk.
think it's more than just him being married. I think there's proof out there that she was a disciple, that she was a strong, opinionated follower of Jesus.
Right.
There's
I
proof
think
out
that
there
too.
that she asked Jesus a lot of questions and did a lot of counseling herself. So if she had a leadership position,
Well,
Does
she
that
could have been.
threaten-
She could have been the
that
one appointed to deal with all the women.
does that threaten the man's grip over religious matters?
Right.
Not if she was strictly put over the women, because that would fit right into what they're trying to say anyway.
Right. But I feel like, in some aspects, I feel like, and in some of the Gnostic writings, it mentions her as being the daughter of God and being like an equal to Jesus. Which Gnostics were all about not religion, but knowledge.
Right.
So I'm sure some of that has been twisted through word of mouth sayings before it was written down. But we all know how the game of telephone works.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah. By the time it gets back to the next person, it's a whole new story.
It's a whole new story.
Anyway, quick wrap up, guys, because we're running out of time. Scott, was Jesus married? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm going to say yeah. That's just my personal belief. Nobody else's. Because like Jason said, half man, man of God. I want to say yeah. I just think there's more to it with Mary Magdalene than what we are taught to believe. So that would be, I would say, yeah. What do you think, Tim?
Me personally, I don't think it matters.
Well, see, that's a bullshit. I was going to say that.
Hang on. Let me explain. Let me explain. A lot of people believe that if Jesus was married, he couldn't have been the Son of God.
Right.
In my personal beliefs, if he was married, does it make a difference?
Absolutely
How
not.
does that take away from his divinity?
It doesn't.
And that's why I say it doesn't matter. To me, personally, in my relationship with my religious background and my religion, Jesus was the Son of God. And it doesn't matter if he was married, had 20 kids.
Right.
It matters that he was who he was. He did what he did. He said what he said. He preached what he preached. And that's all that matters to me. So to me, whether he was married or not is kind of inconsequential. And personally, I feel someday I'm going to learn the answers to all the questions anyway.
What do you think, Jay, man? Hey, penis man, what do you think? Jesus married?
This is my thing.
Okay. Tell me your thing.
I've read the Bible a whole lot. I got a little bit of experience in that. I've read a lot of different stuff. And to be honest with you, until Dan Brown pitched the idea of Jesus being married to begin with, nobody was even talking about this ever in my life. Have I ever heard that conversation brought up? So I'm not saying it couldn't be true, but as far as I know, it's not. And until they show me something that makes me know it is, some kind of proof, anything, find an old scripture somewhere, an old cave with hieroglyphics in it. I can't say that it is, because that would be me. I honestly I hope he did. I hope he was married. At least he got to experience love and physical love and sex. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, as a man, we're born to propagate, make babies. I mean, I don't know how to explain that.
God's first word to man was be fruitful and multiply.
Man, listen, what's better than you when you think about yourself in your age now? What's better than your kids, your grandchildren? That's what you had to live for in your old age, right?
Amen to that. You've probably heard mine back here screaming at one point in time.
Mine's over there screaming now. Right on, man. Well, hey.
Now we got one more thing.
Yes, we do. There's something new on this show. Tim, take it away, brother. Take it away.
We have come up with the Jackass of the Week. Each week we're going to profile one person out there that has made a real bonehead jackass move.
And guess who we picked this week? We got the jackass. The fucking Zach Baggins. Hey,
For
Zach.
saying, for
We
saying
want you
he
to
had
know-
the door from the Bonnie and Clyde car when the car is intact in the Bonnie and Clyde Museum.
And not everything's demonic, jackass. Okay? Stop it.
He's got to get
God,
ratings. He's got to get ratings. He's got to get people to watch him.
Zach Baggins, congratulations. You are the jackass of the week.
Of the week.
Hey, thank you guys so much for
And thanks for everybody watching. The comments
yeah.
were really, really
Thank you
good.
guys. I missed everybody. I got my brothers with me. Man, what a great way to return to the podcast.
And we are definitely all three jackasses.
Once again, myself, the very bald-headed Sasquatch, and the paranormal penis, I'm going to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. And we're going to have another great show next week. And we look forward to seeing you. And remember, if you are not laughing, you are not living.
Yep, you're gay.
Great night and a great weekend.
And if you're not living, come be a guest on our show because that'd be really cool.
Yes. And if you are interested, want to talk about something, hey, you can get any of us, the three of us, send us a message, let us know. We would we'll talk about it. So,
Yep.
hey, I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you guys, man. Love all three of you dudes. Oh wait,
Later, love you, bro.
2 dudes. I love you 2 dudes. I said 3. So all right. Love you guys, man. Peace out.